Well, good evening, community. We are here for another episode of Both Sides of the Conversation, and it is Tuesday, March 19th. And you know what we do on Tuesdays? We bring out our hidden gems. So, of course, we always do our best to showcase those who are doing amazing things in the community, whether it's impact or running a business. And we do have some amazing guests to talk about some things. But of course, I'm your brother from another mother, Mark Scott, aka The Voice, but I am not by myself. I am joined by my amazing queen of the podcast, Miss Ayo White. Ayo, how are you doing? Talk to the community this evening.
I'm amazing. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Good evening, community. We still a little stir crazy from Sunday, getting all those messages. It was an amazing, amazing show, though. It was a necessary roughness that we needed. Eye opening, but we did get some solutions and some great perspectives. So I'm very excited about tonight's show. Of course, Hidden Gems is one of my favorite shows. So we're ready to get our guests up and running.
Absolutely. Yeah. Sunday show was a banger. I think that was our first 3 hour plus podcast. If y'all didn't catch that, please go tune in to that when Mars and Venus collide. It was some real gems dropped, and I think some more conversation need to be had. Amazing show. But tonight, we're going to get to our hidden gems, but of course, we got to bring you the news and all the community events and information. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into the headlines. I will give you the events, and then we'll get our amazing guest up and running. So let's go ahead and jump into our first headline. And it reads, Supreme Court allows Texas to begin enforcing controversial immigration law. The U.S. Supreme Court has permitted Texas to enforce a stringent immigration law, granting state officials authority to detain individuals suspected of illegal entry. Now, this temporary win for Texas has faced opposition from the Biden administration, citing safety and law enforcement concerns. The law transforms illegal entry into a state crime, a notable shift from its typical federal jurisdiction, and raises fears of increased racial profiling in Texas. The legal battle continues in the appeals court with arguments scheduled for April 3rd. Justice Sotomayor's dissent highlights potential upheaval in federal state dynamics and risk to non citizens. And also in the headlines, SFPD reopens investigation into death of 63-year-old Asian woman as London Breed demands video to be released. The SFPD is reopening the investigation into the death of a 63-year-old Yan Fang Wu, who was shoved to the ground in July of 2023 and later died. The incident is being scrutinized due to pressure from the Asian justice movement. San Francisco Mayor London Breed is pressing for the release of the incident's video amidst concerns of a possible serial attacker. SFPD Chief Bill Scott agreed to release the video after the investigation concludes to avoid compromising it. Another headline reads, CDC issues measles alert as 2024 cases have already equaled all of 2023. The CDC has issued an alert about a rise in global and U.S. measles cases, urging vaccinations for all international travelers over 6 months old and children over 12 months. From January 1st to March 14th of 2024, there have been 58 confirmed cases in the U.S., mostly linked to international travel. The highly contagious disease can lead to severe health complications, and with the decrease in vaccination rates, particularly among kindergartners, there is heightened concern for potential outbreaks in community with low immunization coverage. And also, in a final local headline, as San Francisco's largest landlord falters, tenants are banding together and winning. In San Francisco, tenants are harnessing collective power against the city's largest landlord. Residents, frustrated with issues like trash buildup and mold, are forming tenant associations, leveraging city laws to push for improvements and rent corrections. The recent sale of properties from Veritas Investments to Ballast and Brookfield has spurred tenant negotiations, yielding some early concessions, and tenants are using rent strikes and legal support to compel new owners to address long-standing maintenance issues and improper rent hikes. Well, that will do it for our news and headlines. Sister Ayo, are you ready to knock out all these community events so the people know what's going on in the community?
I definitely am. Let me catch my breath right quick. And what we have going on this week and next week in our community, come out to APRI Info Session on Thursday, March 21st from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., location 1301 Evans Avenue. Get assistance, look into the latest job opportunities, upcoming job fairs, resume building, and more. Guest speaker, Clean Slate. Join the African American Parent Advisory Council for Camp Read a Lot, a literacy and free kits, books, and s'mores on March 21st, 5:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. at 1520 Oakdale Avenue, dinner provided. Please register at the link below. Minding Your Business. Master the Art of Grant Writing with an Expert workshop by Dr. Nicole Coleman on March 23rd, 2024 from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Hosted by Prima Donna Bradrick. Registration at the link below. Attend a reception for Mayor London Breed on Thursday, March 28th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Support the re-election of San Francisco Mayor London Breed. Visit the link below. Participate in Spotlight on the Arts by California Lawyers for the Arts for Multidisciplinary Arts Training. Open to 14 to 17-year-old youth in San Francisco. Priority for low-income youth. Apply by April 1st. Apply for the Mr. Q 2024 College Scholarship in remembrance of a life well lived. Scholarships for high school and college students who are interested in public health or related fields. Deadline is March 31st. Join us for April No Fools Poetry. Open mic on April 2nd, 6:30 to 9:30 p.m. at 4800 3rd Street, San Francisco. Featuring at Jumi Speaks, Ram the Poet, GEROD, Lady Ra, hosted by Big Mouth Productions, LSO, $20 donations. River of Life Church is accepting signups for a River of Code Spring Session 2024 on Mondays and Wednesdays until April 3rd at 4:30 p.m. at the River of Life Church. Learn computer skills, coding, and building engineering. Join YCD Bridging the Gap and Bay Area Desperados for WAGA 19, the War Against Gun Activity 19. 19-year anniversary on April 13th, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. at Bayview Opera House. All ages are welcome for entertainment and food. Apply for Bayview Legacy Foundation scholarships and stipends available. Apply from March 15th through April 29th. Details at the link below. Mark your calendar for Hip Hop's TV's first annual Fashion and Art Gala 2024, honoring Chantel Herden on April 27th, 6 to 9 p.m. All proceeds will benefit Chantel's children. Gain financial aid with She USA scholarship for high school students, grads, and undergrads, selected on the basis of their financial need, academic achievement, and community involvement. Join the Neighborhood Emergency Response Team, NERT, for full training March 26th through May 1st, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at San Francisco's Fire Department Division Training. Tickets at Eventbrite. Attend Estate Planning 101 with HERA, second Thursday monthly, February 8th through June 13th, 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. at Booker T. Washington Community Service Center. Registration is required. Opportunities for All, OFA, offers career exploration and workforce development to San Francisco youth, young adults ages 13 to 24, living or studying in San Francisco. 2024 Summer Opportunities Program and camps for K through 8 kids, over 160 options for learning, engagement, safety, and health, ready for fall school. Dreamkeeper Initiative announces Kids Summer Camp at Prince Hall Computer Learning Center for grades K through 8, free admission June 10th through August 2nd. For more information, please call the link below. DCYF Youth Opportunities, ages 14 through 24, explore opportunities for youth portal for summer jobs, internships, and more in San Francisco. Ages 14 through 17, watch for paid summer jobs opening this March. SOA City is Mine Tech and Sports Camp, April 2nd through November 26th, various times and locations, ages 7 through 16. Kids in the City. APRI is hiring a community innovation site manager. To apply, see the link below. Kids in the City presents Hair 101 workshops Saturdays 1 through 3 at Chase Center. Youth 7 through 17 learn about unique hair. Supplies provided and register is required. Join SECC at the Hungry Cafe 8 through 4 for co-working eatery at Social Space with delicious bites and local coffee at Southeast Community Center. SFOEWD and Renaissance Entrepreneurship Center offer business support services for small business entrepreneurs in Bayview and Fillmore in San Francisco. Minding Our Own Black Business initiative by BWOPA Tile Honors Black Women Entrepreneurs. Nominate a favorite Black women-owned business. DKI's Senior Home Repair Program offers up to $50,000 forgivable loan to low to moderate income seniors and or disabled homeowners in distressed San Francisco neighborhoods. San Francisco Human Rights Commission holds regular bi-monthly meetings on the second and fourth Thursday of each month at 5 p.m. in the City Hall Room 416. Attend in person or via Zoom. Fathers to Founders Child Support Clinics every Tuesday and Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at 232 6th Street in San Francisco. Get guidance on child support debt, license holds, custody, and visitation rights. DKI's Down Payment Assistance Loan Program offers up to $500,000 for down payment assistance and up to $30,000 for closing costs. Connect with housing counselors, lenders, and realtors. Walters Wellness Group hosts Sip and Paint Center every first, third, and fifth Friday. Unwind and set the tone for your weekend. Fueled by tea, creativity, and grounding. Hosted by Dr. Kathia Walters. Join Fathers to Founders for Fatherhood Reimagined Therapy Group. Every Tuesday, 6 to 7:30, food will be provided. APRs host youth workshops, job referrals, resume building, skills, internships, networking, and community service hours. Fillmore Friday Night Market, every Friday, 4 to 9 p.m. on O'Farrell Street between Fillmore and Steiner. Live music, food, vendors, dominoes, prizes, and fun. Vendor booths are available. Ongoing vaccination site offers COVID-19 boosters and monkeypox antiviral pills. See times and locations below. The Community Living Room offers free breakfast and grab-and-go lunch Monday through Friday at City of Hope Cafe. San Francisco Office of Financial Empowerment offers free confidential one-on-one smart money coaching, financial guidance in English and Spanish, available to anyone living or working in San Francisco. The Bayview Collective and BSOTC invite you to take a survey to help us shape the future of our community. Your insights will directly influence initiatives and enhance quality of life. Please take our survey. Be a mentor with San Francisco Unified School District Mentoring for Success. Sign up to volunteer as an individual or group mentor district-wide. Make an impact. Would you like to promote your business, your nonprofit, or community impact? Sign up for our Hidden Gem Show. Share your expertise on our Educational Thursdays and be a panelist on our Sundays conversation. Keep up with both sides of the conversation's latest shows and community outreach events. Follow us on all of our social media platforms. You can also subscribe to our newsletter at bsotc.org. BSOT welcomes volunteers to join our mission to uplift and support the community. Make a positive impact. Become a volunteer today. BSOT invites you to support our podcast for our community engagement. Please explore our donation links. Your generous contributions will greatly aid us in enhancing our programming. We would like to take this time to thank and acknowledge the Dreamkeeper Initiative and its support for BSOTC's programming and San Francisco's diverse Black communities. To learn more, please see the link below. Join us this Thursday for our Educational Thursday, March 21st, as well as our upcoming Sunday conversation.
All right. Did a fan. All right, there we go. I'm back on stage. Sister Ayo, fantastic job as always getting through the community event. Give you a second there, catch your breath. We are going to go ahead and transition. We do have some amazing hidden gems that we want to get up on stage. And our first hidden gem that we're going to have joining us is going to be Miss Phaedra Tilley. Miss Phaedra, how are you doing this evening?
Hello, I am so happy to be here.
We are so happy to have you. You are definitely coming in, and I know we had some last minute things going on behind the scenes community. We want to thank Miss Phaedra for stepping in and filling in and doing such a lovely job with your presence. Can you tell us a little bit about who you are and what you have going on with SF Batco?
Absolutely. My name is Phaedra Tillery Boughton, and I am the associate producer and casting manager for San Francisco Bay Area Theater Company. We are located in San Francisco. Our artistic director is Rodney Earl Jackson Jr., and we are putting on a production that we would like to invite you and your audience to attend. Our upcoming show is called Sign My Name to Freedom, and this show explores the activism and music of the Bay Area icon, Betty Reed Soskins. Betty Reed Soskins is well known for becoming the nation's oldest living park ranger. This is a woman of color. She's not only a park ranger, but she is an acclaimed playwright. She's a playwright. She's a flood survivor, a racial integrator, a World War II defense worker, a business owner, an activist, a revolutionary, and she was a songwriter. This woman has done it all, and we're telling her story on stage. The play features dance, aerialist, and explore the original music from Betty. Through Betty's unique lens. It is a 20th century history. So it's amazing work, amazing, beautiful Black artists that will be on stage. This runs from March 28th through April 13th at Z Space in San Francisco. Our tickets are starting at $15, and this is what you do not want to miss. We do want to see our community come out and support. A lot of times we're looking for Black audiences. So we want to invite all of our Black audiences to come see this beautiful show. Our Black cast needs to see Black bodies in the seats. And if you are an ally, we want to see you too. But go out and purchase our tickets, support our work. We're a young theater company. We're led by Rodney Earl Jackson Jr. He went off to Broadway, came back and started a theater company 10 years ago. We're 10 years old this year. And so we want you to come out and support our art.
Amazing. Okay. And what better time to pay homage to Miss Betty than Women's History Month? Okay. So let me know, what is it that has brought you to the arts?
Honestly, I was moved by music as a child. I started musical theater in the 7th grade, which was 25 plus years ago. And it's always close to my heart. It's always been a art form that is like no other. There's nothing like having a live audience every night. What you experience every night is different. Even though the script is the same, the energy that the people on stage get from the audience changes the dynamic in the room. And there's nothing like that. And that I get to change doing shows or being a part of a show like every 3 to 6 months. So it's constantly moving. I'm constantly learning, experience, and telling new stories that are supposed to be told that need to be experienced. So there's nothing like being in the theater. It's a place that makes me happy and feel complete.
And again, from my understanding, SF Batco, again, congratulations on the 10-year anniversary. But it has a unique place in the community that it's trying to bring unique voices. Can you talk a little bit more about SF Batco in totality and what it means to the community?
Yes, SF Backhoe is a theater company basically, and we love to talk. We do a lot of new work, so a lot of the shows that we are performing in are not necessarily like shows that you know, which are like The Color Purple or The Wiz or things like that. These are shows that have started from the very ground, where somebody's been writing them. We were like, "Oh, this is a good idea." Then we go on to workshop it, and so what we do is this allows our audiences to get used to learning out. Like when you see Hamilton, before it became Hamilton, it had to go through several steps. And steps or like what we do here at Backhoe, where we go through, we read the story, we make edits. Sometimes we have workshops that last 2 or 3 weeks where we have actors who's come in, listen to the songs. Maybe she adds a run here. Maybe we like, oh, I don't agree with that, and we got able to talk to the writer and have some changes made, or they go, no, I don't want that change made, right? And so it's a very beginning processes of shows when they go to Broadway or when they go to big main stages. We're the beginning and we're the hub, and it allows people in San Francisco to see shows before they go anywhere else. We are starting that here, and we're using writers that are from right here. This right here is actually the book. It's Betty's story, but it was written by our own Michael Gene Sullivan, who is from the Bay Area, is a Bay Area writer. It's directed by Elizabeth Carter, who's a Bay Area director. So we believe in taking care of home and making sure we're telling stories that are that represent our community.
So can you tell me how long is this show going to be running for?
So this show runs from March 29th to April the 13th, which is about roughly 3 weeks. And you're like our tickets, like I said, start at $15. Opening night is the 29th. There's a post talk back that happens where you see the show and maybe you have questions for the writer or the actor or the director. That is on Sunday the 31st. There's a relaxed family friendly show that are on April the 6th, because sometimes we understand that there's children and you need to have to bring your children. So we encourage those kinds of things. We also have an ASL interpreter night that happens on the 7th. And then we have a masked show, because we know that some folks still want to make sure that they are safe with the way the pandemic has been going. So we have a masked show that will be on the 10th. And then closing night is on the 13th. So we got something for everybody.
I love it. I love it how you include something for everybody in the community, and it seems like the community actually has a opportunity to kind of participate and offer some feedback, and it seems like that kind of helps shape the way shows come together and evolve. But I'm a little bit more curious about you personally. Like, what's your particular role? What do you do? And if people wanted to connect or get involved, how would they do so?
Absolutely. Well, what I do for SF Backhoe is I am the associate producer, which helps put on productions, and then I'm also with casting. So I choose who's in the show. I'm always looking out for talent. I'm going to shows constantly. I'm going to open mics. I'm going to singing competitions and looking for talent. I also am a director in my own right. Outside of Backhoe, I'm a director. I'm an actor. I'm a playwright. It don't stop. I all avenues of theater is what I'm doing. So that's who I am. You can find me on Instagram at Phaedra T. Boughton. You can also find my website, which is phaedratboughton.com, where you can find more things that I do on my personal time. But my heart mostly is dedicated to SF Backhoe, where I'm able to work on art that really represents me, who I am, and my community.
So with your extensive resume, what differentiates working with SF Backhoe from any of your other organizations that you may have worked with?
I love that you asked that question. I'm going to be honest with you. 2 years ago, I worked in corporate America, and I had a corporate job, and I did musical theater at night on the side. It was my hobby. I believed in Rodney and what he was doing with SF Backhoe. I applied for grants that helped me be able to work for Backhoe, and then after about 6 or 7 months, I completely quit my full-time job. I am a full-time artist now, and it's what I'm passionate about doing. What makes me want to work for Rodney is because, or SF Backhoe as a whole, is because it's a young theater community that wants to work on things that are really about our community, that are queer, that talk about Black relationships, that talk about depression, anxiety, that really talk about the meat of the stories. We're not tying the end of the story with a bow every single time. We're really talking about things that can move our community along, educating them, and then allowing ourselves to work with young Black creative artists around us. Not only do we put on productions, we also have a creators lab where new writers can come into SF Batco and work on their work, on their art, and be mentored by several people that are on our team. So it's just about what they really are doing. A lot of theaters are talk about being inclusive and really making sure that we're telling those stories. But I know that Batco is really about putting it to work and really making a difference in the community. And that's really, really important to me, and making sure that Black art is being seen.
And that was actually going to be my next question for you, because again, for somebody to leave the security of corporate America and transfer into the arts, and again, you even went through the links of getting grants to make sure that you could be funded. What's your inspiration? Like what compels you to jump out of the security of corporate America to pursue the arts?
My joy. That's what compels me. I believe that we are living in a world that is full of darkness and full of fear. And I believe in my 40s, I like to say it because I'm proud of it. In my 40s, I recognize that what am I doing and what am I leaving behind in this world, right? And is it making a difference? Am I leaving a legacy? Am I leaving something that I'm proud of? And working corporate America wasn't something that I could be like, oh, in her bio, in her bio, she does this. She works at corporate America and makes sure the papers are pushed. No, I'm now teaching children arts. I'm bringing art to children. I'm also directing musical theater to children, and I'm making them know that there's joy. And so I may not be making $1 million, honey, because theater does not pay that, but my soul is filled. And I'm happy with what I do, and my bills are paid. They're paid. I ain't doing extra stuff, but they're paid. And I'm happy with what I'm doing, and I'm fulfilled. So everybody can't do that, right? Like, that's not everybody's truth to be able to walk away from corporate America, because that was comfortable for me, right? Like that every 2-week shake. Yes, ma'am. And theater is a little different. And I kind of have to email you, hey, do you remember sending a check? Like that. It's kind of a different hustle. But I know I have it in me. So that's why I knew I could take it for myself. But it really was about finding my joy and making sure that I was proud of what I was leaving behind. I have children, and I want to make sure that if I'm telling them to grow more, be more, see more, do more, I can't sit at the desk and just be okay with that. I have to show them. I have to be their example, because I don't want the street to be their example. So I'm just trying to make sure I'm their example.
I love that, because you're fueled by your passion. I was going to ask, what would you tell somebody that is passionate, eat, sleep, breathe something, and they want to stay comfortable in their 9 to 5, and they're feeling a little timid on taking that leap of faith? What would you say was your fuel, and what would be some inspiration that you can give them?
I'm not super religious, but I do believe in God, and I believe that He runs my life. I also believe that He gave all of us a gift. And we're all given a gift, and we operate in those gifts and we share our gifts. We won't want for anything. So if you find that you have a gift and it's tugging and it's pulling at your heart, you have to follow that, because it opened me following that gift. I was like, oh, I'm gonna quit and I'm gonna just act. But now I'm directing. Now I am casting. Now all these doors I never imagined opened wide up because I followed my gift. So you gotta follow your gifts and do it. Make it make sense. Now I ain't gonna tell you to quit. You don't got no money. I ain't gonna give you that advice. But make a plan and see it through. But then also allow Him to order your steps, because if he's tugged at your heart, that means He has a calling for you. So follow that calling and be true to it too. Now don't go through it halfway. Give it 110%, because that's your gift. And the way when you give, it pours back into you. So as soon as I started to follow my gifts, calls started coming in from everywhere. Hey, do you want to do this? Oh, I heard your schedule's open. You want to do this? I heard you can do this. And so the calls started pouring in. So follow your gift. If that's your passion, make a way, make a plan. And every day work at that plan. I heard somebody say, you work 8 hours for a job for somebody else and then go home and don't work on anything for yourself. Spend time with working on something for yourself that's for you. And that will start to grow and you'll start to believe in it. But don't expect nobody else to believe in you if you don't believe in yourself.
But that is such sound wisdom, because I know a lot of people that want to pursue their passions, but they don't see a practical path to pursue it. And you have just laid out the framework on how you did that. I'm curious because, again, because you're so passionate, I know you've touched people's lives and you've seen people's lives come through there that have been transformed. Can you maybe speak about one highlight, something that really stands out to you, that really reinforces your passion and why you do what you do?
Absolutely. I have a lot of friends who are leaving California within the next couple of days that I've been in shows with that are headed to New York to do Broadway shows. So that, I mean, that, and these are people, elbows, people I've cast, people I've sung with, people I've worked with. They are now on, they got into Soul Train, which was here in San Francisco. They were understudies and now are headed to New York to start being prepared for Soul Train to be on Broadway. So it can happen. And also, remember that New York is not the end game. I don't want to live there. I'm okay with living here because I've created a space where I can consistently work. So I guess just believing in yourself. I mean, I see it all the time where it just can happen when you finally believe in yourself. You'll surprise yourself every time.
I know that's right. And I love that you said walking and utilizing your gift, because I believe that, like, when you give it to God and you are walking in your purpose, He will give you, you're fueled by your passion, but He will help you make a profit in your purpose. So for you to be able to, I mean, I too am not a religious person, but I am a spiritual person. And something that my pastor said was, this is the year of manifestation and manifested promises, right? So if you think back to who you were 2 to 3 years ago, where you were 5 years ago, the things you were praying for, those seeds that you sowed then, you're bearing those fruits. And those fruit are going to have those seeds that you continue to sow. It's a cycle of sowing. So everything you sowed into yourself, now those who are coming under you are going to live and bear those fruits, able to utilize those seeds that you are sowing. So I commend you. I thank you. I thank you for being fueled by your passion, because you can see it it's immense in your spirit. You can see it in your glow and everything. Not too many people have the confidence. They don't have the confidence to get out of being comfortable. You utilize that 9 to 5 as a crutch sometime, and we lean on it. And being a person, for one, transparency, being afraid of success in a sense. You work, and you're like, when is it my time? But when it starts to come, it's gonna come at you like a speed train, and it's gonna let off. But you gotta be preparation, management, being able to multiply that and make sure that you are passing it on to somebody. So we thank you for that. We thank you so much.
We
thank you. I appreciate it.
We truly thank you. We honor you, Sister Phaedra. Your spirit, your aura absolutely exudes from you. It's coming through the screen. Thank you for giving us the time to, because again, I know it was last minute you stepped in and covered. But before you go, we do want to give you an opportunity to, one, give any parting words of encouragement or enlightenment that you may have for the community. And also, we want you to thank anybody that has helped you along the way that you want to recognize. Because again, you come on our platform on both sides of the conversation. We don't want nobody to be mad, like, you ain't give me no shout out, you ain't mentioned me. So any parting words, and then shout outs to people who've helped you along the journey that you would like to acknowledge.
I want to touch on what you said about your fears. One, chase your fears. Chase your fears. Don't let them chase you. So that's one thing that made me step out on faith, was chasing my fears, because I'm tired of them running me down. So chase your fears. As far as shout out to my entire team at SF Backer. We've been working really hard to make this show a success. We have Black aerialists, y'all. I don't know if y'all understand that. Like, we are flying through the air on this show. This is not something that you see done in the Bay Area. So if you can come out, bring your mama, bring your auntie, bring your grandma. Betty Reed Hoskins is 103 years old. She will be at our opening night. It's sold out. Y'all ain't gonna be there. But come and support support her story. It's a beautiful story. She's from New Orleans, came to Richmond, and then has been living here in the Bay Area. This is a Bay Area story. So come out and support that. Like I said, shout out to my entire team at SF Backco for all the work that we've been doing. We've been all like running around with a chicken with our head cut off, but I'm so proud of the production that we're gonna put on. A shout out to my mom, my wife, and my family for always supporting me, because I'm always taking them on a journey. I'm like, we're gonna do this. I'm quitting, I'm doing this. I'm in this play, I'm in this show, I sent them this link, I'm on this show. So to my family, my wife and my family, for supporting me and allowing me to be who I am. And for you, for having this platform for people like me to share with people who are in our community. Thank you so much, because this is so needed. I saw all the highlights. I took notes about what I'm gonna go see and be a part of. So thank you for the work that you do, and having me last minute. I appreciate it so much in my little loud background.
Well, it has been an absolute pleasure and an honor, sister. And again, thank you for stepping in. And again, on behalf of our visionary and founder, the Bishop John Henry, he's out in the community serving now. He would have loved to have been here, but on his behalf, we just want to say thank you and continued much success to SF Backco. And may the shows, as they say in show business, I hope everybody breaks a leg.
Thank you so much. I'll see you guys at the show.
Thank you,
Yes,
sis.
thank
You have
you.
a wonderful time. Well, Sister Ayo, wasn't that amazing? See, this is why I love Hidden Gems. We have such amazing people in the community doing such amazing things. Again, this has got to be, this is my favorite show for sure.
Her passion was just so inspirational. Like, I can feel it, and how she said she left that job with confidence. Talk about walking out on faith, like literally walking out on faith and knowing that it will be done. When you are fueled by your passion, anything is possible. Infinite possibilities.
It definitely is possible. And speaking about what's possible in passion, our next guest, again, this group, this coalition has been doing some amazing things. And our next hidden gem is Mr. Andre Akins. He graduated from Grambling State University with a BS in mathematics education, worked as a 7th grade math teacher and also an assistant principal in East Oakland for 11 years. The brother's been deep in the trenches of the community for a long time, worked as the operations manager for the Omega Boys Club and Alive and Free, and is currently the director of programs for Rafiki Coalition of Health and Wellness. And he's partnered with multiple CBOs, city municipalities, and agencies throughout the Bay Area. So when we talk about people in the trenches who are passionate about what they're doing, our next hidden gem is nothing short of that. So community, with no further ado, we want to bring to the stage Mr. Andre Akins. Brother Andre, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right. How are y'all doing?
Man, doing fantastic, Captain. Doing fantastic, brother. Man, please, for those who don't know, again, I just read the brief bio, but please tell the people exactly who you are, what you have going on.
Well, first of all, let me say you read that bio pretty good, brother. It made me feel like, man, did I do all that? But anyway, yeah, I'm a product of the Bay Area. Grew up in East Oakland. Like so many of us that do grow up in the community, had my challenges early on in life, got it wrong, then had some opportunities when I met some people. Actually, the Omega Boys Club, Jack Jacqua, Preston Worthy, and Joseph Marshall, who's now Dr. Marshall. They happened to come to Castlemont one day and give a presentation. And I was only there to get a driver's license to get my car out the impound. And I was hopping the back gate to go to 96 and Cherry and sell some D. But something that was said from all of them caught my attention and changed the whole trajectory of my life. One, Jack Jacqua said, what's up, my brothers? And if you know Jack is a white guy, long beard, looked like a mix between a hippie, Santa Claus, and broke.
The
and
wizard.
So, yeah, like Gandalf, right? So when he said, what's up, my brothers, of course, that caught everybody's attention, like, brothers, who this dude supposed to be? And then Dr. Marshall said, if you knew what I knew, you wouldn't do what you do. And so that spoke to me. And so I went and I asked him that question. What do you know that would keep me doing from what I'm doing? Because I'm good at what I'm doing and I'm liking it. And at that point, he went off on me. Well, he asked me, how was I doing in school? And I told him the same thing. I'm here to get a driver's license, man. And then he went off on me like, man, you giving up your education, blah, blah, blah. And I was looking at him like, man, who are you? You think I said F your mama or something, right? Because he was so passionate about taking advantage of the education system. And so there was just something about all that that gave me a pause in what I thought I wanted to do, and then gave me interest to find out, well, why are all these people here trying to assist us, talking to us, and we don't know who they are? And then they had people that look like me, sound like me, talk like me, that was talking about going to college rather than going out to the streets. So thanks to a probation officer named Pam Harrison, got over to San Francisco, went to the boys club that night, and it changed the whole trajectory of my life. And from that point on, not only was I decided that I was going to change the direction of my life, but I wanted to make an impact within community and around other young people so that they wouldn't take the road that I did. Because it was only by the grace of God that I made it through a lot of the things that I got involved in and put myself into. And so through that journey, through that journey and through them, I were able to go to college, experience some things, change what my views on life was, and realize that the only people that's going to be around to save us is us. So from watching my mentors to also going through a process of change, realizing that it was going to have to be, I was going to have to be part of that change. I wasn't going to make, not that I couldn't have done it, but I wasn't going to be about making a lot of money and all that stuff, because I got involved in all that and made all those wrong choices. And so then I wanted to make an impact and make sure that people have the best possible opportunity to be successful and navigate all that other stuff that could befall them. So as you spoke to, got a degree in math education, became a school teacher, loved it, became an administrator in Oakland, loved that. And then I ended up working for the organization that directed me in a different direction. And so from there, I transitioned out and got the opportunity to come to work for Rafiki. And it's an organization for the community, but it was a different type of work that I was used to doing. I was used to doing a lot of preventative work in terms of transformational and getting people, whether they were adults or young people, to change the way that they thought about things and take advantage of support, resources, and information that was out and maybe available to them that may have not been. And this work is doing the same thing differently, I would say. Rafiki started off as the Black Coalition Against AIDS, where it was working to impact a population that was, I must say, being totally ignored when the AIDS epidemic hit. And and people may disagree or whatever the case may be, but when it comes to health and the Black community, that it is not traditionally a history been one that has been equitable, fair, or even done properly. And so that organization came to address those needs and provide services and ways to try to decrease and inform people. Over the years, it went through a branding transformation and realized that, hey, we need to open not just around AIDS, HIV, and sexual diseases that's affecting the community, but there are a number of things that fall under health within the community that we need to address. So that's when the decision, and all of this was done before I even knew that this organization existed. So I'm not talking from somebody who was there from the ground up. this is what I learned once I got there, that they opened up and said, hey, health period is a problem within our community. Wellness is a problem within our community. And there are different types of wellness, from the physical to the spiritual to the mental, to the nutritional, that we're behind the 8 ball in a number of ways. And that part of it is the information, but the other part is the advocacy for the resources and making sure that, again, that equity is present, and making sure that we all get the care and that we all have access to the care. So that's where Rafiki Coalition for Health and Wellness came into play. And so from there, they started looking at not just the things that I spoke about, but also an impact on the policies and the negative connotations around what is considered to be healthy and unhealthy, and the stereotypes that's out there addressed in the African American community. One of the things that I've learned a lot about since I became since I became a part of Rafiki is the mental health aspect of the African American community. I know even when I was out of college, and I even went to a therapist back in the day, I didn't realize the importance of having a therapist or having access to be able to talk about certain things that we needed to talk about, needed to get out, and receive some healthy information back. And the misnomers about all of that, that even keep us from wanting to address a need that we have. While it's small, it builds up, and then we make all kind of decisions or whatnot. And that comes from the trauma that we have experienced or other things that have affected our lives that we carry with us. Working with Rafiki, and I came aboard as the associate director of programs in the midst of the pandemic. And I was charged with the leadership of the COVID response within the Bayview. So we had our team out there that was encouraging testing, vaccinations, and providing information to the community. And it was the community that was hired from the community to serve the community. So we actually had people that were putting themselves at risk, because remember, at that time, a whole lot of people had more questions than they did answers. And then there was a lot of misinformation that was going around. So through meetings with DPH, a number of communities of color, not just African-American organizations or whatnot, sat down with the Department of Public Health in San Francisco, said, hey, we need to have true partnership in this. If we're going to make an impact in the communities that are being impacted the most, then we need to do this in a way that's going to be sensitive to our communities. So then that's when a true partnership really was developed. Ears started opening and things started to change. So with that said, I thought my job was mainly around 94124 and COVID response, but it turned out that it was linked to so much more. And that becomes where the wellness part of Rafiki comes into play. So as I'm there longer, the pandemic is being impacted, and then things are starting to change. When some normalcy is starting to come back, I start to learn more about what our organization really encompasses. I did not know that wellness covered a wide array of things, activities, and programmings to bring, I'm going to say, health as a whole to just an individual, that it's multifaceted. So in order to accomplish that, Rafiki concentrates in a few different areas from a holistic point of view. And I'm gonna start off with the wellness side of things, which are about classes to help people learn how to take care of themselves. I mean, we all catch a plane, or some of us have been on planes. And what did the stewardess say? Before you put the mask on your child, put it on yourself. You know, you got to take care of yourself before you can impact everybody else around you. So it's okay in some cases to be self-serving and to be about yourself. And so one thing that I've learned with wellness is it's really about taking care of yourself and learning how to take care of yourself and maintain yourself through all the things that we have to go through in our community. And so wellness means a number of things. I'm going to start first with, it means mental health or access to mental health services. So Rafiki provides that with a mental health clinic where people can come and get these things for free. Get on a waiting list, sign up, and then see somebody that can help them navigate whatever's going on. Secondly, nutrition. A lot of times we put the wrong things in our body, okay? And, you know, things develop from the inside out. So Rafiki provides nutrition classes where people can learn how to cook clean, how to buy clean, and get recipes. And we also provide those ingredients and groceries for that to take place. So one of the organizations we partner with, 18 Reasons, they come in, they do a demonstration. People actually cook right then and there. They get to eat. They get to break bread, have great conversation, see how it's done, learn how to shop for seasonings that are healthy, that won't drive up that blood pressure and cholesterol and all that negative stuff. And then they get a bag of the ingredients to go home and cook for their family. And then we have movement classes, whether it's dancing to the oldies, whether it's second line dancing, whether it's hip hop, whatever. But it's about movement classes that happens every day to encourage people to move and get that blood rate up. Then we also have other activities that encompass from drumming sessions to drumming classes to where we have yoga classes, which also coupled with meditation. But I didn't know how good yoga was. I took yoga for my first time a couple of months ago. And I used to, you know, had a stereotype like, oh man, I ain't wearing no yoga pants and all that kind of stuff. Forget all that. But, you know, I came in my hoodie and my shorts, you know, so I then sat down, and it really does relax you, stretch you out, and help you release a lot of stuff that we don't even know that we're carrying in our body just from getting up in the morning and dealing with the normal day to day. Whether it's about, you know, man, how I'm gonna pay this bill. I got to make sure these kids I don't get no phone call from the school. Whatever it is, there's things that we carry with us that if we don't involve ourselves in activities or in targeted activities, that we cannot let that stuff out of us in a healthy way, and it's going to come out some kind of way. That's just the natural physics of everything. So then we also have sound meditation that goes along with the yoga class, where not only they're stretching the physical, but learning how to relax, how to breathe, and how to pay attention to things where you're not paying attention to things. Totally take yourself outside your body for a while without drinking or smoking and all that kind of stuff, where you could go on a trip and then come back and then you're ready and centered to go on and do some other things. We also have a movie night, and a lot of these things we do on a regular basis, always there's a method to the madness. So like with movie night is to encourage community to come together and not only to be entertained, not only to spend time to each other, but we're very, I'm gonna say, we're very poignant on the movies that we show. We want people to be entertained, but if you know, and Mark, I think you look like you from my era, so you remember KRS-One when he coined the term.
Yeah, hey, I'm not that young either, you know.
Hey, hold on.
I know good music though.
Okay,
right,
I'm not knocking nothing.
Let everybody know you in our age bracket. We still trying to get you married off now. We ain't trying to tell everybody your age.
Hey. You know, I pride myself on my 40. Okay, I made it, baby. I made it.
Hey, I'm glad you're 40 and you're fabulous. You know what I'm saying? So fantastic. I'm just alluding to, there was a term that KRS-One said, edutainment. You know, we can educate in our in our entertainment. And I think along the way with a lot of stuff that's going on, it got lost, you know. So we try to make sure that we edutain folks when they come through and have healthy snacks, camaraderie. And when people walk out, they feel good walking out. not no doom and gloom, or got this whole thing, or seemed like 30,000 bullets fly through the air and all this other kind of stuff. So like for Women's History Month, we just showed Hidden Figures, you know, and before that, we showed the documentary during Black History Month, the Freedom Riders. So we always trying to make sure that it's of interest, but at the same time, somebody can walk out with a little something other. We got Jackie Robinson's 42 coming up, and we're gonna watch a little bit of the Black Panther, you know. So and the one of the things that I love most about this job, I can be unapologetically Black and proud. You know, you don't, I ain't knocking the coalitions, I ain't knocking our allies and all that. But sometimes, you know, it's hard to be Black first. You know, you always, sometimes you put in a position where you got to be all inclusive. And one thing about Rafiki, it lets us be able to wrap our arms around our community as well as everybody else, but prioritize our community. So that's one thing I love the most.
Man, that's cool by itself. We ain't got to be the magical Negroes to keep everybody else comfortable so we can be ourselves.
Man, I don't know how I feel about that movie, but okay, you know. So we also have hikes that we do once a month or a couple of times a month. We just started partnering with 510 hikers, where because most of the time our hikes are at a time for our elders, and so we want to try to encourage our younger demographics to get out there. So we partnered with them so that we can have hikes for our elders and hikes for the younger side of the community. All of these things that I'm talking about are on our website that's going across the ticker tape right now, or you can catch my email address and send it to us. So I'm not going through the dates and the times because all that information can be sourced out from going straight to the website. But coming up, we're I heard you earlier mention that we have partnerships, which we have a lot of partnerships with a lot of different organizations, and we're out there with them, supporting them, and they're with us, supporting us. We have one particular partnership where we just started doing pop-ups around, and it's called the Umoja HAP, which is the Health Access Point, which is about addressing HIV, AIDS, and harm reduction within the African American community in a holistic point of view. So we got a number of different agencies, PRC, AHP, Third Street Youth, and the San Francisco AIDS Foundation come together to build from the ground up a plan to address that need. And the goal is to eliminate the the AIDS infection and the HIV infection, and bring down the overdose epidemic that the city is facing. So we're doing that in a holistic way, not only with the partners that I mentioned, but with all of the partnerships that all of the partners have. And we're doing pop-ups around the city to introduce and to gather interest. And eventually in July, we're going to have a static shop, one-stop shop, if you will. So if somebody comes in and they're coming in for one thing, but they have several other things, we want to be able to address all of those things. So I know I'm speaking 1,000 miles a minute. I'm trying to cover everything that I can think of. So maybe I could slow down now. You could ask me a bunch of questions, and then we could get a little bit deeper.
No worries. No, we really appreciate you being so thorough with your explaining the background, the present, and the future of the coalition. I do have a question with your background from, streets to the books to being a part of the coalition. How has all of that transpired and influenced your position with Rafiki, like being a 7th grade mathematics teacher? How are you able to implement all of everything that Andre is and pour it into Rafiki?
Well, I think number one, I'm able to have empathy and understand that it's not about where you meet somebody, it's where the possibility where you can see them at. One of the things that I've learned about being an educator is that you got to see something in that person before they can see it in themselves. And your job is to give them the opportunity, the resources, the support, and the information to realize that. And sometimes you have to assist them until they can walk on their own. So with that mindset and working in Rafiki, my job, I feel, is to set the stage to eliminate barriers so our people can flourish, so our people can be successful. We just started, and I'm glad you asked that question, because that leads to something that I was leaving out. Rafiki has always been a family-oriented organization. So we if people brought in their children or brought in their youth were welcome. Their youth could participate, and if their parents benefit, then the youth are going to benefit automatically. It's a byproduct. But we were not necessarily youth oriented. This year, we are starting youth-orientated programs. So we have a performing arts program that we will be doing in a little bit in the future. We had to kind of change that up a little bit. We have a youth circle, what we call the African American Youth Empowerment Circles, where we're going to bring young people together and sit down, one, allow them to be themselves, and then do some mentoring, do some life coaching, do some what I want to call some goal mapping. We're going to help them achieve the thing. They're going to decide what success means to them, and what do they determine means, how do they define that success? Then our job is to help them with information, resources, and support to achieve that. We also going to break bread with them. Every week that we meet, we're going to have a full meal. It'll be in a to-go tray, so they could go. It'll be catered, so it ain't going to be well, here you go with a hamburger or something like that. It's going to be a real meal that they can eat from. And if they want to sit around a little bit longer, discuss some things, well, you know how we do it when we got the table in front of us and some good food. But if they need to take it with them, they can take it with them. But our whole thing is to give them an area where, one, they can be amongst themselves and they can open up, and two, that they could get some information that can help them make the best decisions out there possible, and also provide them with resources, with support, and with information. We're going to have a San Francisco, what we're going to have is called the African American Bike Project, the Rafiki African American Bike Project, where we're going to have cohorts of students come in, learn everything there is about bikes, how to build, how to maintain, how to repair. And at the end of a 10-week period, 9-10-week period, the bike that they build, they get to walk away with. And we're going to expose them to going on different bike rides, different trips. And at the same time, it's going to be a mentoring process. So it's about that hand sweat equity, but also about learning about things that they may not have the opportunity to learn due to either circumstance or just due to exposure. Some things we even going to partner with the organization that could help them get summer jobs or whatnot, and learn about the environment and what environment education look like. So we're being very strategic in our youth programming, what we want to do, and what the skills we want the young people to walk out with, so that especially moving into the summer, we want to be able to have something for our middle school kids to be able to do, because I don't think they have summer school this year, if I'm not mistaken. And if that's the case, we want to make sure that there's opportunities for them to be productive and not get into something where it turns into something destructive or something of that nature. But again, it's all around health, wellness. And if we don't, and one thing I've learned also, if we don't take care of our young people, then our young people won't be around to take care of our community or us. And I got to say, we got to do a better job as adults of that. So part of that is making sure, though, that we are healthy ourselves, right? And so that's one of the things that Rafiki does very well in laying down the foundation. We have a partnership with Umoja Health, which works throughout the entire Bay Area, where we have these pop-up days where we still do health. We do all kinds of health screenings. We have vaccinations and boosters available, and flu vaccinations, mpox vaccinations, yada, yada, yada. Test screenings for early health indicators so that people can go and get the help that they need. But we also provide healthy grocery boxes for individuals as well. So we want to make sure that we address the needs that's out there, that's right in front of the face, which allows an opening to address the needs that may be under all the stuff that's standing right up there at on the top.
Okay. Before I ask my question, brother, I just have to say this, Andre. I want to, from one brother to another, I want to just take this time to edify and acknowledge and celebrate you, brother. You are absolutely impressive, a beacon, a light, an example as a Black man in the community, highly intelligent. Again, not many people, especially in our community, will go after a degree in mathematics. You got to be intelligent to do that. I just want to just say from one brother to another, man, thank you for the work that you're doing, the example you're setting, because it is not only doing lip service to things that people need to hear, but there are real strategic and practical things that you guys are doing in a holistic approach, because as a community, we're under attack on every level in every aspect of our life, from mental health to nutrition and economics. And everything y'all are doing are tackling each of those needs head on. And I just want to commend you for that. Now, my question is about education as a whole in our community and the approach to it, because you said something very that stuck out to me, is having people take advantage of the education that's available. Again, I'm a bit of a historian. The educational system, again, it was set up to make good slaves and employees for corporations and factories. It wasn't meant to make critical thinkers or people who would be able to rise above the control structure and systems in place. But now we are starting to see people awaken and starting to say, okay, you know what? Everybody doesn't need to go to college to get a degree to be successful, but we do need to educate ourselves. So what has been the most effective way that you've been able to awaken people in our community on why we do need to pursue taking advantage of education and not just trying to always be entertained? It's important now to edutainment, but our community has been conditioned to lean so heavy into entertainment that a lot of times we don't extract the educational value out of what's available. So can you kind of talk about how you bridge those two together?
Yes. Thank you for that question. That's very important. And I'm going to take a little step back with and preference a couple of things, and then you'll see where I'm going with this. We are, and you spoke to it just a second ago, that the American or the Western education system is designed based on capitalism, the economic structure of the country, the haves versus the have-nots. If you're gonna be rich in capitalism, you got to make sure that you shift the goalposts when you can, because it's all about competition. And if you're really gonna win the game, you got to make sure that you handicap your competition. And so part of that is, as you spoke to, our public school systems are designed for people like us, or people to be considered like us, and even some of those people who don't know it yet, to be an underclass and to learn how to be a consumer versus learning how to be a producer. So that's one thing about the education system as a whole. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with being an athlete. There's nothing wrong with being an entertainer and all this other kind of stuff, if that is your passion, if that's your joy, if that's your pathway. But we have been programmed to look up at these things as the easiest way to get the American dream, which is not a dream for us in the first place. And when they have got us to convince, when they have been able to convince us that the most important thing is for me to get mine, they doomed our community, because by nature, we were a people that understood the next generation will continue our communities moving forward. They made sure that the most important thing were the raising of the children, and it was so important that all the men raised the boys, and all the women raised the girls. And they taught them strategically and systematically what it meant. So with those things not being in place as a whole, and most of the time we have to look at things as, I got to handle my family because I don't, all this stuff and all that, and it's not coming from a holistic situation. We do not have a unified setting on how we raise and educate our kids. And a lot of times we put in positions where we have to hand our kids off to somebody else to educate our kids, and they do not share exactly what we share. That's the fundamental basis of the education system. And I'm not saying that means there's bad people. I'm not saying that whoever's there aren't there for the right reasons. I'm just saying it is what it is. And so for me, recognizing that, then my job is to sit down with the kids and tell them straight up, hey man, this is the system, and it's not designed for you to be here on an equal playing field. That doesn't mean that it's not designed to give you the opportunity, though, because that's the one thing we do have is an opportunity, and that there are things in place that could help us achieve. It'll be up to us to take advantage of those things. And so then it's part of the job of education. It's not just to say, learn to count, learn to write, learn to comprehend, but this is why you have to learn this. This is why you need to go through this, so that you can develop the skills that you need, so that you can operate in this society as it is designed. Because that's the one thing that the system will teach you. The system will teach you the system. We just have to be open to learning that system. And I'm sorry, but play the system against the system. That's what we got to learn how to do. There's no reason why you cannot be affluent and not lose who you are as a person, or have to go out there and do all these other things and chase all these other people's dreams and all this other stuff. The owners of the NFL don't mind giving somebody $100 million contract over 5 years. They might get it, they might not. But off that $100 million, they done made $2 billion. So it makes perfect sense for them. So yeah, you could get paid on that. But after your knees are shot, your back is gone, most of the time you're gone from your family. And once you come home, your wife might leave you, or whatever the case may be, not saying that happens in every case, but sometimes, things happen. It just work out some kind of different kind of way. So do you really get a chance to take advantage of that? And because our young people, when they do become successful and athletes and all this other kind of stuff, and they get a lot of stuff fast, coming from a background where they don't have a whole lot, they don't understand the management and living within or underneath your means, so that you can have this longevity or invest. Now, they may be doing a lot better at it now, but overall, a lot of people have to keep playing and doing these things because they haven't made those preparations. And why is that? Because they haven't been prepared up here. And so part of getting our kids, in my opinion, and part of getting our kids there, they have to be prepared for when they go into the school. They have to be prepared for those obstacles that they're going to have to go up against. That every wall isn't there in place to necessarily destroy you. Sometimes you have to learn what adversity is to set you up for the next thing that you have coming on in your life. And so to me, we have to make sure that our kids understand that fundamentally. Now, they have a whole lot of other stuff that's going on that we're not going to get into today that our young people have to deal with. But if we are going to make an impact with our kids, we have to teach them this one word that I learned a long time ago, and it rings all the way: resiliency. We have to help our kids develop resiliency in the face of anything and everything. So one of the things that Rafiki does so well, and let me back up and say this: we got a fantastic staff that work with us. Without the people that work there, that put in the hours that they put in, the people that make, because when we do programming late or early, or when we got to travel, that's people who making the decision to go away from their family to help other people. And just like with 94124 and all the people, they were literally going out, could be bringing home something dangerous to their families and whatnot, but made a decision that they needed to impact the community in a way that they believe was going to assist the community. So let me just say, the thanks that you gave me, I just want to give it back to the people that I work with. I want to give it back to the people that have impacted my life, because if nobody helped me or nobody was there for me, I wouldn't be where I am today. So it to me, I'm only doing what was done for me, and I got to I would not feel right at night if I didn't sleep knowing that I didn't try to pay it forward. So the people that I work with, good, bad, and different in terms of how our days go and everything we got to deal with inside, outside, or whatnot. The fact that they show up every single day and that they put in what they need to put in to put us in the position that we in, I couldn't work at a better place. And so for me, it's not like coming to work like Phaedra. That's her thing. That's her joy. Being able to see somebody who come in one way and leave with a smile on their face, leave uplifted, have resources. It was just like when I was in the classroom, coming in when I had, and I've had some kids to come at me like, but then at the end of the day, they was like, "Hey kids, what's up?" That's what it was worth, or to see, or to get, or when I run into somebody on the street that was headed one way and now they headed a different kind of way, or to hear a story about somebody. That's where it all counts from and where it all counts at. So one of the things that I love about Rafiki is the impact that we make out in the community comes from the impact that we make amongst ourselves within the organization. So I really do appreciate that and appreciate everybody. And so I believe that we educate our kids by setting boundaries and standards and expectations for our kids first and foremost whenever they come in contact with us.
I just want to say I learned so much being a part of both sides of the conversation. We had a show a couple months ago, and I shared how my son has a passion for sports. He's an avid sports player, basketball, football, wrestling, everything. And also he has a passion for music. And I was expressing how I was showing him, not every kid makes it to the NBA and or NFL or to be a pro in the specific sports that they want to be in. So let's find a different avenue. This was my mindset. Let's find a different avenue. There's agents, there's managers, there's physical therapists, right? As well as he has a passion for music. So my dad went out and bought him all the equipment for a studio. He got an internship last summer to go and work in a studio, learn how to do production and engineering, as well as him trying to write on his lyrics, but not gonna yuck his yum, but whatever. I love you, sir, if you watch it, son. Nevertheless, something that Mark said to me hit home and I applied it. My son loves math. He's been a whiz at math throughout his whole entire school career, like K through now in 10th grade. Like that is one subject that he excels in. And Mark said, not anything against anybody wanting to be in the entertainment industry, but how about we start telling our kids, pick up a trade, those other passions, those other things that they're good at. Let's highlight those things. Not everybody is confident in school. Not everybody has a thing in school, like, you know, a specific subject that they can excel in. But him saying that really got me to thinking about a different trajectory when it came to my son. And so I told him, like, you know, you're so good at math. Let's start to look into some different organizations and resources that can help you with that. Right. So he was like, yeah, mom, like whiz kid, like, oh yeah, let's do it. I'm like, how can we apply that into your passion and make it your profit? Right. So what you're doing when it comes to the education part for our children, like you said, Mark, you know, not highlighting being an entertainer, right? Because that's so popular now with the exposure to social media and everything. Kids want that instant gratification, like, oh, so and so was a YouTuber and they making millions now. Yeah, but let's be more realistic in our society, in our communities. How can we utilize those things that you excel in and pour it back into our community? Not only pour it back into our community, but how can we utilize that as your driving force? So I thank you for the work that you're doing for those kids who haven't had anybody help them pull that out of them, you know, because their influences now are everything on social media and or on TV or the real reality shows. We don't have any, like Tavita said, thank you for being a Black educator overall, not only just your position and your performance, but you are educating our children. You are educating the adults. That's something that John Henry always says. The adults are the ones who make the impact on the children, but the children are the ones who are going to lead and have to navigate through our future. So we have to pave that way, and we have to leave them those gems and give them our legacy in the light and educating them about all things, you know, the good, the bad, and the ugly, right?
Right.
And you're leading by example, and you are giving an example for the things that you are, how can I say it, that you are expecting of them, right? The model behavior that you expect in others, you have to lead with that. And you are doing that. And we thank you so much for your position, for your passion, and for you being able to be a part of Rafiki and taking everything that you are, everything you've been through, who you stand on and who you stand for, us as Black people, allies included, but the importance that we see Black educators, Black men in our community, bringing the unity back to us, both parents, both children, because it takes a village.
Well, thank you very much, and you're so true and so right. And literally, I had that conversation with my son. He want to be Steph Curry, right? And you know, he ain't gonna be 6 feet tall. And I was like, now Steph is 6'3", 6'4", and he's short. So, you know, let's keep it 100. If you are passionate about basketball, that's what I said to him too. Look at the different avenues that you can have around basketball. Coaches get rings too. You know, the trainers get rings too. But like you said, agents or whatnot, there's a lot of different things you could go into behind the scenes where you don't have to get broken all up. You can have a nice, decent paycheck. And then if the coaching staff change or whatnot, you can be solidified in your job depending on the position you got. So let's look at it from a holistic point of view. But the good thing is he got uncles and everybody that got their own business and everything. And so things started to change. And after our conversations, now he want to be his own business owner. And he got this whole thing about clothing stores and all this, you know. So he got accepted to Xavier in New Orleans. So he's going to go there to do business administration.
Xavier, my little cousin is there. Hey.
Okay. Then we have to connect him up because he's going this fall. So you 100% right and what you were saying, and Mark, you 100% right too. I think the narrative and the information that they get comes at them so much, and they only see the glamour. They don't see all the other stuff that's behind the scenes, and they don't know when the camera go off, all that stuff go off too. You know, they taking those clothes off, they going to the apartment. That car is going back to the lot at the end of the season, all that stuff. But our kids, they don't see or understand that entertainment side of the business. And I had a conversation with a young man because I do some work. I work with a group of ninth graders over at Gateway on Wednesdays. We do the same kind of class. I do that with them. And then I also assist with the BSU at Willie Brown. And so I was having a conversation with one of the young men at Gateway. And I asked him, like, man, if I told you to go a month without your phone, I'll give you $1 million. Could you do it? He was like, no, I can't do it. I said, wait a minute. You can't put down your cell phone for 1 month for $1 million guaranteed? He said, nah. So I said, well, why? He said, well, I might have an emergency. My mama might call me or something like that. Or I could use this phone to make some money. So I said, well, let me ask, how can you make some money? So he was talking about the TikTok and all this other kind of stuff. So I said, all right, okay, I got you. So then I said, there's a couple of ways you could have done this so you could get that $1 million, right? And he said, well, what do you mean? I said, see, you got to realize that you got a whole brain in your mind, man. You got creativity. You got to listen to what I said and then figure out how you're going to get that $1 million. One, I said, your phone. That didn't mean you couldn't use a phone. You could have just said, here you go, and got your partner phone or went and got a burner, all that, and you would have still got that $1 million. So the whole class was like, oh, so I said, man, we got to use our brain. We got to be creative. We got to think, man. You see, you saying you got game, but you ain't gamed up like you think. So trust me, you got a lot to learn. And he was like, oh man, he just didn't even have no words. So it's those kinds of conversations and interactions that we got to have with our young people to help them realize they have the skills inside of them. It's just what they're going to focus on. And a lot of times, the way that everything is coming at them, because they have access to way more information than we ever had before, and it's unfiltered. I mean, totally wide open. And so at least the lanes that we could that we had to guide us, there are none. So it's really up to us in how are we going to supply that for our young people. And the one thing I got to say, if we're not healthy, we can't expect our kids to be healthy. If we don't have a strategy on how we're going to be resilient, we can't teach it to our kids. So it's going back to that analogy again, being on that plane. If you got to put the mask on for yourself first before you can put it on for somebody else. So one of the things I love about Rafiki and a lot of the other programs that we partner with is that it really gives people a structure in which they can put themselves under resources and information and support so they can mimic that for the ones that are around them. A lot of people, I think they miss this one point sometimes, that if you get healthy, everybody else around you will benefit from that. If you take care of yourself, if you can get up and go to work, if you're not drunk or falling down, if you have healthy practices, those things will be what our kids and the ones around us see. And if somebody who need to be redirected in their lives, the first thing they're going to say is, man, you're doing something different. How? Why? But we gotta live that in spite of all the other stuff that's going on. And one thing we got to do is stop worrying about things we can't control and people that we can't control. We got to do what we got to do for us first and foremost. And if it's meant to impact them, they're going to come to you for that.
I want to just say one thing that is so true. Like, I've been on the pescatarian diet going on 5 years now. and I can see the drastic change for myself and everything, right? So, of course, my kids, I have 2 boys, they like their specific snacks and stuff, right? So I go buy myself veggie chips, hummus, and stuff like that. I come in, my snacks are gone. Nobody's tried to have hummus or said anything about it. I'm like, so I asked my older son, I'm like, did you eat my hummus? He was like, yeah, mom, it was real good. I said, okay, all right. So I could sneak it in every now and then. Now we have a gym, a home gym in my complex. So I'm down there. I'm there at 5 a.m, getting my health on, right? My son wakes up one morning. I'm like, where you going? He was like, I see you going to the gym, mom. Come on, let's go. So we go. I'm like, come on, I'm about to show you something. That boy was doing 1-arm push-ups with a barbell in his hand. I said, never, you can't come with me no more. You got to work out at school because you want to come and show me out now. He was like, no, mom, I'm gonna encourage you. I said, nothing about that is encouraging. It's intimidating, okay? But exactly like I said, you are modeling the behavior that you expect of your children. I have to lead by example, right? I want a healthier lifestyle for them. Of course, it's easier to go get them some potato chips or whatever. But him seeing it, I see that it had a different type of influence on him. So I'm going to encourage it. I'm not going to force it on you, but leading by example gives them that choice. Yeah. And they know that it's them making the right decision. And that can lead on to so many different avenues in their life.
Man, my kids early, ever since they were small and as they were growing up, like I never had a problem wearing a suit. Never. You know, I must admit I look good in the suit. All right. And so my kids, my sons couldn't wait until they could wear a suit because that's something that they saw that was that's still normal to them. They couldn't wait until they learned how to tie a knot. And so, I taught them both how to tie a knot. And then, you know, I know how to tie my own bow ties. You know, I don't need the clip on and all that kind of stuff. And so they were like, so I would have to do it for them, but they was like, man, we want to learn how to do that too. So it's all natural to them because that's what they're used to seeing. And they may stray or they may see something else like, man, that ain't like how it is at the house. So that's odd. And they may even want to get curious about it, but they're not going to feel right about it because they know what is actually normal to them, which is the environment that they first have come in contact with that we set for them. And so one thing, all of our kids at some age is going to be like, will come to us and who are you? This ain't who was in my house like a year ago. You know, they're all going to go through that stage, but what you put into them will come back later on. And that's where we got to have our faith. And that's where we have to, you know, I understand how we have to understand our kids, but there are some things that you got to be non-negotiable about. And so that consistency and non-negotiables will go a long way that they will come back to when the time counts. Because the one thing you want them to do is hear your voice at those critical decision-making points in their lives. They may not act like it, but they're listening. And so when those things show up that you have had those conversations about them, they're going to hear that voice. And, you know, my sons have told me, you know, they before they did something, they would hear like, and then they would go, nah, I don't think that's a good idea. And so, you know, and if that's what it takes, hey, I ain't got no problem with that, you know, but that's how we have to be. And I think that's in my job, in serving the community, that's the level of commitment I got to have for the community too. I can't waver. I can't bend. I got to believe what I got to believe. And I got to find a way to be resilient. Everything that I want people to be, I have to be myself first and foremost. And that's all the way around. And I'm not saying that it's perfect. I'm not saying that it's great. I'm sure not saying that it's easy, because Lord knows life is life. You know, we all got the other sides of the coin. But overall, though, I think that when you are genuine about what you're actually trying to do in the life you're trying to live, things will work themselves out. And overall, I think that as an individual, you're going to make that impact. And sometimes our life is about coming in maybe about that one person that we came in contact with that actually will change the world. But if we don't do what we're supposed to do or show up in the way we're supposed to show up, and that person come in contact with us, that might miss the whole mark of why we went through what we went through in that particular time, whatever it was that we went through our life. So some of us, we can affect 10,000 people, 1,000,000 people. But sometimes our life is down to that one person that we're supposed to affect that will have that impact on 10,000 people or 1,000,000 people. So I'm blessed to have that opportunity working with Rafiki. And I really feel blessed to be able to be in a position to kind of work behind the scenes to set the climate and the environment so that our staff can go and make that impact on there. I try to, I think as a director, it's not necessarily to tell people what to do and all this other kind of stuff. I think my job is to make sure that people have what they need and are able to do the job that we're paying people to do or that people are charged to do, and to be a problem solver and to create and at times to be the one to make certain decisions. But it's all about making sure that people can really effectively do their job and advocate for them and be in a position to sit in some meetings and have a voice for the people that don't have a voice. And sometimes sitting in meetings with other municipalities or other things, and you hear some of the stuff on the other side, it's like, but it's stuff that we got to endure and go through in order to get to where we want to go. And that's not to say that we don't have allies and that we don't have people that really do care in these other positions. But again, keep in mind, it's the system at the end of the day. And sometimes the system will put people that mean good in certain positions. And we have to understand that. So I really do so far. I have had my challenges, but I have not woke up one day and said, "Oh man, I gotta go to work." No, I have not woke up to a day like that. I think because I just love the fact that I'm in a position to actually do for others, which have been done for me. If this was going to be a movie or a play, I couldn't come up with a script like this. I mean, I'm actually living a dream, and like with the sister that was on before, I'm getting. It's a shame. I feel like sometimes I'm stealing money because I'm working, making money, doing what I enjoy doing. Not everybody have that opportunity, and I ain't gotta hurt my shoulder and all this kind of stuff.
We ain't gonna say that again though, because we want them to keep paying you and paying you well. Yeah, we want you to get paid well, brother, because what you do is so important. And again, I thank you again, because as we get ready to wrap up, one of the things that I've noticed throughout your sharing is the true authentic passion that you have for what you're doing. And it's often said people don't care about how much you know until they know how much you care. And the level of care that you have for these young people and the people that you work with is evident in your voice as you talk about it. So as we kind of wrap up, and again, I don't want to keep you all night. It is getting into the evening, but can you kind of give a shout out and closing remarks? Because I know you're not doing this by yourself. You've got a team, a support system, and other people that have lifted you up as you do this. But do you have any parting words for the community? Something that you would like to leave them with so that they know just how much you care and what Rafiki is doing? And again, in any shout outs to people who are helping you along this journey.
So, yeah, I want to start off with shout outs, and I got to do it a little bit different because I don't want to leave people out. So it's so many people that I work with, and so many different and that exist in so many different agencies that have direct contact or have some kind of impact or decision making. I just want to say that anybody and everybody who I have come in contact with, or the organization who I've come in contact with, anybody who have that works for the organization or who have worked for the organization, right down to the person that recommended me for the initial position, to the person who gave me my onboarding. Everybody who has touched me and my journey to leave to go from the jailhouse to the schoolhouse. Everybody who was instrumental in my mentorship when I was in education and administration, and the teachers that I've had in my life. I want to give a shout out to all of them. And again, the only reason why I don't want to do the names is because I would leave somebody out. And I think everybody deserves an equal praise from me, because I wouldn't be who I am if I didn't have them, and I would not be able to be in a position, and our organization would not be in a position without all these different people. So let me start there. Let me just say, for the community, words of encouragement. We have what it takes to be self-sustaining. We've been around a long time, and we've been fighting for a long time. And that's just something that's been in our spirit ever since way back in the motherland, back in the day. I would just like to say that we can draw on that spirit, and whatever we determine and whatever we decide, we can make happen for us. We're not perfect. There's no perfect scenario, but we can fight through any scenario that's thrown at us. We have to support one another, no matter what organization we work with, no matter what the part of the city we're from, no matter what our past have been, no matter what we want to be our future, no matter what our economic status is, no matter what our social status is. It's going to take us all to work together. And we have to somehow get beyond the things that separate us and realize that we have more in common than we do that separates us. If nothing else, we have the fact that we want to be successful, and we want our families to be successful and healthy. So please go to the website, look up the information on Rafiki. We will be back, I believe. I'm trying to get us back on to talk more about the initiative of the Umoja Health Access Point for April. But yes, and please feel free to contact us at any time, anything that we can do, anything that we can assist with within our power. If we don't do it, we probably have a partner that will. So, and the last thing I'll say is, I love superhero movies, Marvels and DC, but in our community, we are the superheroes. We are the ones that's got to come in, swoop down, and do the saving of our community and our children. Nobody else is going to do it. And if they are going to do it, they need to see us being a representation of the type of superhero that we need to rescue our community. And with that, I say thank you to both sides of the conversation for giving us the opportunity to speak to the community tonight. Y'all have done an excellent job. It's fantastic, the work that you do and give this platform out. I've known John Henry for a while because he's gone through Omega as well. So for him to embark and for him to do this and select y'all, it's fantastic. And I really enjoyed my time on here tonight.
Well, thank you, Brother Andre. You have truly blessed this platform this evening and the community. We know you're blessing all the people that you work with and continue to touch. And we just want to send continued blessings and prayers your way. And may you continue to have much success. And we look forward to seeing you again. The door is always open. You are always welcome. You are definitely part of the both sides of the conversations family, brother. So thank you again. And also, congratulations to the Gremlin guy, boy. I think they just
That's right. That's right. They got in there, man. They got in there. It's the first time I think in school history that they made the tournament D1. So congratulations to them, man. They're going to represent the HBCUs very well. We're all ecstatic. I was getting emails, text messages and everything in the middle of the night about it before I actually realized what happened.
Yeah.
So, man,
Now,
that's great.
I've got some other friends in my circle that are Grambling alumni. They've been on cloud nine celebrating. I saw that, so I just wanted to share that love with you, brother. Thank you again, man. You have a fantastic evening, brother.
You do the same. Y'all both do the same, and all to the both sides of the conversation family. Thank you, and I look forward to working with y'all in the future.
Thank you. Definitely looking forward to it, brother. You have a good night.
You too.
Thank you so much.
All right, Sister Ayo, how you feeling about these hidden gems this evening?
I'm feeling encouraged. I'm feeling motivated. I'm ready to go get another job. Okay, like about 5, but I don't think I'm doing enough now. No, in all seriousness, take all that in, right? We've been talking so much about the importance of nobody coming to save us and making sure that we are putting our passion before anything else. He just said something very keen, and it's something that I stand on myself. You got to be the hero of your own story. You got to. Nobody's coming to save us. But being the hero of your own story also means that you're leading the way. You are setting a tone. So many other heroes have come after those before us. And it's important that we let our babies know it's okay. Whatever your passion is, we can utilize that. You can work. 2 prime examples. You can work doing what you love. And when you're doing what you love, it doesn't feel like work. You don't have to come home and let off and release any anchors, because every day is your driving force and your fuel. And for them to both be so passionate and wanting to pour it and pay it forward, that is so important, that we pay it forward. Not always worrying about what's behind us or taking the baggage with us. We pay it forward, taking that present moment and paying it forward. It's so inspirational. These 2 guests tonight have shown were prime examples of leadership, passion, compassion, and genuine wholehearted love for what you do. I am so grateful for this platform that we have these hidden gems come on and we are able to reveal them and share them with the community. So thank you both. Thank you, Phaedra, for coming on and stepping in last minute with that powerful presentation, girl. And thank you, Andre, for everything you are and what you stand for our community. We really appreciate you. Your presence is a necessity. Thank you.
Well, as always, the queen of the platform, Sister Ayo, does such a beautiful job of bringing things together and putting a bow on it that has such substance. It's hard not to be inspired when she speaks, y'all. It is hard. But again, I just have to echo, thank you, Sister Phaedra, Brother Andre. Again, this is why, to me, Hidden Gems probably is my favorite show, because we have such amazing and powerful people that are doing really significant things. And even with Bishop out in the community, as always, prayers go out to you, brother. I hope you're taking good care of yourself and community. One of the themes that's been kind of echoing for me here recently is don't negate the strong people that you see, the ones that are always serving, the ones that are always giving, the ones that are always consistently there offering a helping hand. I know sometimes it might not be the right time and you may not really understand or see all the work that they do, but these people are human. A lot of us are serving on fumes. We're hanging on by a thread. They're smiling and giving their last, holding themselves together because they have something that they believe in that is bigger than themselves. And these people need to be honored. They need to be supported. They need to be looked after, and they need to be checked on. And if that's you, if you're watching this right now and you're that person who's holding yourself together, just know you're not alone. And what you're doing is absolutely worth it. We may not always get to eat the fruit from the tree of the seeds that we plant, but we must continue to plant seeds because we owe it to the generations that are coming behind us to continue to cultivate. So don't get weary in your well-doing. Continue to persevere, to press on, and just make sure that the person that's next to you, you just take a moment to check on them, make sure they're doing all right, and love on them a little bit. And with that being said, I also just want to make sure y'all take the time. We would love to hear from you. We want to know how we're doing, how we can get better. We are trying to increase our viewership, of course, but we want to make sure that we are giving you community value. So please go take a look at the survey at SurveyMonkey. We want to know how we can do this better because, again, at the end of the day, we do this for you because we love you, community. So again, on behalf of everybody here at both sides of the conversation, the Bishop John Henry, I want to bid y'all, community, a good night because we love you. Bye-bye.